Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Thinking and Growing Rich with Ciaran Deeney and Brian Cassidy. So, episode 1 just about to begin. We're very excited from this one. Just moving on to our first full episode. So, Brian, what can our viewers expect today?
This is the one that you want to be understanding. This is the one that you're going to reprogram, change throughout this, listen to our podcast, and throughout your life, you've been changing it anyway. So we're going to give you the awareness and knowledge on how to change it yourself and how every action that you have taken in your life, probably up to 96 to 98% of it, is all becoming from the subconscious. So that shows you how important it is. All your results that you have, 96 to 98% of them, have all come from it. So tonight you want to be listening in to what we have to say. So
yeah, for sure, Brian. This is a subject I'm sure we'll visit many times over the coming few weeks and years even. I love this one. That's why we just wanted to go straight into this one, because it is our absolute favorite. So I just want to start off by reading a quick poem from this chapter. I absolutely love this poem. This will kick us off nicely. So, you never can tell what a thought will do in bringing you hate or love. For thoughts are things, and airy wings are swifter than carrier doves. They follow the law of the universe. Each thing creates its kind, and they speed o'er the track to bring you back whatever went out from your mind. So, Brian, how great is that? That is, it's just...
it is. It lets me know. We talk about thought there. It says thoughts of airy wings and stuff, and we have to understand what thought is. Thought is energy. And me and Ciaran knows what it is. It's neither good or bad energy. A thought isn't. It's just our thinking that makes it so. So if we're thinking about a thought and it comes down into us, we don't have the stick man here as we always do. But our understanding is through a stick man object. But it's always flowing to and through us. And that thought, you either can have it either a positive or a negative. It's only your choosing that makes it so. It's neither. But yet alone, when you come in there and you mix it with emotion, that they're feeling, then you're going to end up becoming the action of whatever you're thinking all day long. And that's what it says with all great leaders and everybody that's ever talked about it, that we become what we think about. And why is that? It's because that thought that comes in there, and if we use it over and over again, I can't do this, or I can't achieve this, or I can't, because this is what we are. We're prominently people who have not self-educated themselves, are prominently, Ciaran, are negative minded. We are in a culture of it. It's not your fault. It's not you were just programmed this way because of our parents' programming, because of people before that, because not this material was known through times. It's only now this things that has come to the fore and people understand and now put it in the application of it that now we can do it. So we understand that the more we break over a thought, the more it becomes suppressed into our subconscious. And me and Ciaran have come led to believe whether it can either reject, it can only accept anything that you force upon it. And that's something for me, Ciaran. If we understand that thought there, and they're talking about neither or negative or positive, well, what would we be thinking? Like if we think that all our results are of our thoughts, because what we think about all day is going to be impressed on our subconscious, which then gives us results. So if you're not thinking about a worthy ideal or a goal, Ciaran, that we talk about, and that's something that me and Ciaran always do. We talk and think about goals every single day. I would say there's not a day that you haven't woke up thinking about your goal, Ciaran. And what are you doing? You know why you're doing that. You're suppressing it onto the subconscious mind because we know it neither can accept or reject. And we know through time, through the law of gender, that there's going to take, or that's going to arrive on our doorstep. But it's through this repetition of this thought here and there. And that's something for me that I always now be careful what I'm thinking, because if your thoughts become things, what are you going to think about today?
Absolutely. That's it. And I love that. And it's just how she mentioned, so in the poem, there's just so much there that how the thought follows the law of the universe. You mentioned one of the laws there. That is just such a big ideal in itself, about how our thoughts, how our whole life follows the laws of the universe. this universe, the whole world operates so precisely that it's all by law. We've got gravity, we've got all the physical laws, and just to think that our thought operates on that same plane, that universal law, is it's massive. So you touched on it there. We become what we think. If you knew that your thought had to, by law, bring you what you're thinking about, would you still think about what you're thinking about? Do you even know what you're thinking about? Brian, you mentioned the repetition there, and that's what's so important when we talk about programming our subconscious mind, because that is all our subconscious is, really. We put in the code, this is what I want, and it'll bring it straight to you. So do you know, what are you asking for? Are you even asking for anything? That's the bit. That is such a massive ideal, that it's whatever leaves your mind is going to come to you. So are you thinking thoughts of prosperity? Are you thinking about your goals, your opportunities, what you're going to do? Or are you thinking about what you don't want?
And they got to understand, Ciaran, what you have now at the minute is old repetition of thoughts that you never actually suppressed upon your mind. These have been given to you through growing up and through an idea of your subconscious mind and the program that it's in now, that your results is all a result of that there. That's all something that you did unconsciously. And what we're talking about here is to become conscious of what you're placing in there. Because if you become conscious of these things, then you can actually create the world that you want to live in. And as me and Ciaran have talked about, this has the power, the 96 to 8%, 98% of everything that you have in your life, if you look around you now, come from your subconscious mind. Because it's only our conscious thinking that we think that these five senses that we have here, our sight, hear, taste, smell, and touch, we think that these here are our reality. These are the things that they actually leave us a hostage to the things that we have in life. Because your five senses are only going with the results that you have in your life. But we've got superpowers inside us that me and Ciaran are going to talk about. We've got 6 higher mental faculties that we can tap into at any time to help our subconscious mind get anything it desires.
Yeah.
Now, we program the subconscious mind, so it's our desire that does that over and over and over again. But we are using our five senses against us at all times. And we haven't been learned to use these higher mental faculties here of, reason, which is thinking. That was the number one thing that's going to program our subconscious mind.
Yeah. So that's it. It's all about our beliefs. Our beliefs are housed in our subconscious. So when we hear something negative about ourselves, what we want people to know is we've got the ability to reject that. So Brian, you might say something nasty to me, and I go, no, I don't want to believe that. But we don't actually know that we can do that. Growing up, Brian, you tell me that I'm not good enough to do something, and I just accept that. Well, unfortunately, my subconscious mind is wide open. It's going to accept that. It will only accept if I don't catch it and reject it and go, no, and then affirm to myself, I can do, be, or have whatever I want in this world, which I know to be true, because all I have to do is keep planting that idea in my subconscious mind, and it will come through. So that's you just touched on it nicely there, Brian. And I think a big one is we don't need to know more to do better. It's not what we know, it's what we do. I think we need to bridge the gap between what we know and what we do. And as you know, Brian, that all comes down to your subconscious mind and your understanding of it and your ability to use it.
And that is actually, you just touched on something there. People's belief is something you think that should happen or shouldn't happen. And then when it doesn't happen, that means you have not met your expectations in life. And that's what we always know, Ciaran, that we've heard through Bob Proctor talking about expectations. If they're not met, you go back, it becomes frustration that is built up, and it becomes worry, and it becomes annoyance. And that just brings you annoyance about other things. But we always know that that energy that's flowing to and through you've now created this stimulating of worry and anxiety, and can't be expressed through the body. It's depressed on it. And we have found that when you have gone to these belief systems, you have to put in the knowledge that you understand that it's today that you can create tomorrow. You just don't pull it out of there. You just can't get something you want. Geez, I want that there, and it didn't work. Me and Ciaran was talking about it here. It has to be over a repetition of time, and this is what studies have done. You talk about all great sportsmen who've ever accomplished something great in their life. they've went through it over the mind. Great boxers like, Muhammad Ali, was told by his grandmother, you're the greatest, and someday they might believe in it. Well, Muhammad Ali went on to be the greatest. It was that his belief system was planted in him from his grandmother for him to be great, great, great. And for me, if we could do that with ourselves, because a grandmother can plant that seed in our grandchild, we can do that seed to ourselves. It just depends what we want to plant that belief in our mind. Not many people want to give themselves. They'd rather plant the belief in somebody else, what they want to think about them. Because what we always know, Ciaran, here, it's one of the 6 ghosts of fears, that fear of criticism of others, and it's changing these belief systems that we can actually achieve anything.
Yeah.
Like we're probably, Ciaran, limiting ourselves. So you said to me one time was 10% of what we're probably capable of, and that's such a scary thing to think that we're only using 10, or not a scary thing. It's an incredible thing to be seeing in another way.
Yeah, it's very exciting. Definitely, it's just to think when you stop and think that every single material thing in our reality, every physical material object has been first created as a thought. That thought energy, that has to be created before the thing. This mic right here, that was someone's idea. That was thought energy transmuted into plastic, metal, and cables. That is so exciting. And that's how thoughts are things, because every material thing has to be created as a thought first. So when you have that thought energy, what are you doing? What are you creating with it? You can create, let's talk about the self-image brain. You can create your character to be whatever by the thoughts that you feed your subconscious mind. So have you ever, anyone listening here, have you ever stopped and thought, how do you convey yourself? What is your opinion of yourself? And, through my experience, I have definitely encountered more people who have a negative opinion of themselves than a positive one, until I got into Thinking and Growing Rich, until I became aware of this, and until I shifted myself out of that environment, shifted my own beliefs, my own views of myself and what I'm capable. Now I'm spending my days, we're recording this episode on a Monday afternoon. Who gets to spend their Monday afternoons talking about Think and Grow Rich? It's incredible that we get to do this. And we're so blessed, but it's by design. It's designed through, implementing these principles and building our self-image to be people that host such a great show like this.
Just, Ciaran, you said there about the thought that you think, but we have to remind people, it's not only thoughts that are going to help plant it into the subconscious mind. There's a mixing process there that needs to be done. And there's 7 major positive emotions there. But love, like we talk about love, I love that thing. I love that person, and you go after it. And that's when you draw things to you when you're in that state of vibration. And that's why when you're in a great state of vibration which is the highest state of vibration is love, and when you partner and stuff, you get everything just goes well in life. Everything's really going well. You think about anything. Oh, jeez, I only thought about that the other day, and it's there. But the thing about it is, you're in a high state of vibration. You're in mixing emotions. You're in that high state, and you're able to attract anything that you desire at that moment in time, because you're in that high state of vibration. You're what we call you're that medium between the infinite intelligence and your subconscious, and you're tapping into that. So every time, and that's the reason why everything's going so well at the time, because that's what we want to be working at. When you say, I would love a nice new car, I'd love this new, BMW or Aston Martin. You put it in that kind of attitude, you ain't going to be Brixton at all, because that thought, just because you said it every day, doesn't mean it'll come to you. The power behind it, I want to be in that Aston Martin. I can't wait to be getting into the feeling of it, getting in to see what it's like, the rev and the sound coming in, touching the steering wheel, the leather of it and all. Putting that's getting you into the emotional feeling. You're mixing that thought with emotion that it's already happened. Because we always say, if you want to change your subconscious mind, you have to get into the place of the goal already achieved. So, the goal already achieved, why do we want goals, Ciaran? Feeling.
Yeah, to feel it.
That's exactly the reason why. So this is all about emotions, love. You've got sex there, you've got romance, you've got hope, you've got enthusiasm, desire. All these emotions are the things that you're going to need to transmute your thoughts into reality.
Yeah, I love that. And it's just that repetition. It's exactly, you just touched on it so nicely there, Brian. It's the emotion. It's mixing the thought with emotion. And I know a lot of people listening are probably saying, what are you on about mixing it with emotion? Oh, I can't do that. I'm not an emotional person. I can guarantee you are now, because what I always say is think on something you don't want to tell someone, something that might make you cringe, something that might make you angry, something that might make you laugh. They're all thoughts that lead you to feel emotion. So if you can think on something that makes you angry, you can think on something that you love, something that you do hope about, something that you're enthusiastic about. Another great tip I learned was, if you don't feel yourself to be enthusiastic, pretend, fake it, and it'll start to happen. You pretend to be enthusiastic about your goal, and you will naturally become enthusiastic about your goal. And I think that's a very important point to touch on, Brian, is natural. It's getting to that place where it's natural for you to talk about your goal, natural for you to talk about the income, whatever it is you want to be, whether it be love. And a lot of people seek love with this book. Does it feel natural for you to love someone? Do you love yourself? You need to love yourself first before you can love another or expect another to love you. And I think that's very important. That's a very important point I just wanted to bring up.
Ciaran, they're never ever going to be getting it exactly right off the mark. We're talking about desire. Burning desire does not come, like, if we want to implement these emotions won't come immediately. It's bringing it in. The thought goes in, right? He says, need desire, need that. You bring it in, you let it come, you let it flow again, you keep doing it each day and each day. Then things start to build up on you. You think a wee bit more, you get a wee bit further with the reality of the dream. Because the first time that you thought about the car, you never even opened the door of the car. You never even visualized yourself in the car. You never even visualized what the sound of the car. You didn't go through your five senses. No, this is the thing about it. So I've seen me do it with my dream home, and Ciaran's got one as well. I mean, sitting down, and I only could see the outside of the house. And then I would get in the door. It took me a long time to get in the door. This is through building up an idea of it and building emotions. It's only when I get into the piano room, which is the library, and stuff, the big piano around there, and my child coming up, all these emotions started coming because I started visualizing people in there, and that started bringing emotion. I get excited about it now because I know where the hallway is, what door is, the kitchen is. These things, like we're talking about, it's called visioneering. It's using one of the things that Ciaran talked about, imagination. And if you want to get any of these emotions, you got to use that imagination, because if we tell you about something in the past, what have they done, Ciaran? Imagination. And by the way, the subconscious mind can't tell whether it's real or it's imagined.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It just accepts. So if you get good in these visioneering and this imagination, you can have absolutely anything. And it's that feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. That's it. Napoleon writes about it's the communication with your subconscious, that there's no toll gate, that the communication is free, but you must go direct. And that takes patience, faith, and persistence. And, I'm sure, Brian, you mentioned your house there. How many days, roughly, did it take you to get? How many times, let's just say, how long did you have to
Ciaran,
have the faith that it was going to work and persist every day?
It was the quality. It was the quality of when I done it. It was the quality, because we have in this book here, Napoleon Hill talks about the QQS formula, which is the quantity, quality, and spirit in it. And it was the spirit that I done it in. I was in spirit. When you talked about meditation and visioneering, I was calm before it, and I did exactly the meditation went, and I went straight into myself, and I tapped into that. I went to no thingness, and I just tapped into that infinite intelligence where I was able to control and tap into anything. So it doesn't matter how many times, the quality and the quantity don't matter without the spirit of where you want to feel and where you want to go with it. And it was only there, Ciaran, that I really understood it. Because, Kim always tell us to do a certain thing. So me and Ciaran both would have went at it flat out, What we realized, path of least resistance, you just got to have the spirit behind it. You don't have to do it as much.
Yeah.
And that's it. But we did do it over the quality and the quantity. Now, just do it over. And if you can't get happy and you can't get excited about going into your dreams of the future, what you'd want. And by the way, there's no pounds, there's no money being exchanged. You don't need money. This is your dream. Because when you go into your dreams, you have everything. You're allowed everything. But I guarantee you, some people out there will limit themselves because they'll probably just want this BMW 320 series rather than having their ultimate dream car, because no way, the only limits we have in our life is the limit we place in our imagination.
Yeah, I like that. I love that. It's that's what it's all about. Again, if your thoughts are going to become things, what car are you thinking about? That's the perfect example. And it's just having the faith that, okay, if I think about a 3 Series, well, I really want the 5 Series. Well, think about the 5 Series. And that's what it's. I love that one. It's your thoughts are going to become things, so think about what you do want. Don't think about the how. Impress what you want.
The problem is, you went all that effort to program the subconscious mind to give you the results that you want. And you said, it took me a while and I done this and I done. Well, why not just go for the one at the top rather than this one down here? Like we talk about goals, Ciaran, is an A goal, B goal, and a C goal. And you want to explain them what an A goal is and a B goal is and a C goal.
So it's like what you know you can do. An A-type goal is what you know you can do. So, it's a goal for me to go for a run. Well, it's not really a goal because I know I can go for a run and it's something I should do. Just go and do it. A B-type goal is what I think I should do. So I think if I done X, Y, and Z, I could probably earn this amount of money. Well, that's not really a goal either because it's not going to stretch you. Then we come to the C-type goal, and that is going after your fantasy, what you really want, the house, the 5 Series, whatever that may be, X amount, love, whatever it is, that excitement of, oh no, that's the first time you think it, you go, that's not for me.
No, I could just scares the life out of you.
Exactly. And that's what it's all about. And Brian, here's what's interesting. You know what I believe the difference when we're setting our dreams or our goals is, do you have faith or do you have fear? Because if you operate with zero fear, you're going to have the 5 Series. You're going to have the 8 Series. You're going to have whatever car you want. You're going to have the piano in the house. You're going to have the house closer to the beach. You're going to have 2, 5, 10 houses.
I always say that if you have the fear, you'll have more in life, more trouble. You'll have more procrastination. You'll have more decisions to make. You'll have more indecision, because life's much more simple this other way with faith, because you're just making decisions all the time. And you're only thinking about what you want rather than all the things that the fear is thinking about. I don't want all these things. And you're thinking about all the things that could happen. You're thinking all the things that did happen. You just literally are pulling it's just fear of procrastination. That is something that...
And that's it. And that's what we learn and talk about and even teach is the terror barrier. Whenever you get this first idea, any new idea, anytime you want to do, be, or have something new, straight into the terror barrier. You're going to be stuck. It's going to scare you. It's going to pull you back. And that's where you need to have your faith and your persistence and go, no, I have to do this. I have to face it. And as soon as you face it, the fears will disappear. And then, so what we're doing is we're taking the image, we're suppressing it in our subconscious mind. Our subconscious mind is working to bring it to us, but we have to get past the fear that we're creating ourselves to get it. And that's, just bringing it back to that subconscious.
So what does that do? The fear, raises what? Emotions.
Yeah, exactly. And that's it. And then any idea held in your mind, which is either feared or revered, will begin at once to clothe itself. Feared or revered. So that what we're talking about, the subconscious, obviously we just concentrate on the positive, but what's actually interesting about this is it works just as well for the negative. Any idea feared or revered will begin at once to clothe itself. Any thought you have, whether you're afraid of it or you love it, once it goes into your subconscious, it's going to begin growing. What did it say about the weeds, Brian, with regards to subconscious?
They neither need to be. You don't need to plant weeds; they'll just grow in its place. And the same what Ciaran was talking there. In our subconscious mind, if you don't fill it with everything and neuter it, with plant all these great seeds in your life, which is positivity and all the things that you want, weeds are going to grow in its place. And that does not need help to be, growing or anything like that. There, as I say, I just feel that people talk about the power of positive thinking. It's the power of what you want. Just what you want. Don't call it positive thinking. Don't call it whatever you want. It's just what you want. In this life, that we can be more And they say, money isn't everything, and we were talking about this Think and Grow Rich, but it's a great way to help people. It's only the way that I know they can help people in poor countries. It's the only way they can help people that are struggling. What's the point then? Why we're all running around here. If we don't make the most of ourselves, nobody's going to be able to do all these great things.
Yeah.
If people are saying struggling and if money's not good, no, well then come up and get money. If somebody says money just making people into a larger expansion of who they are, if you're a miserable person and you got loads more money, you'll be like a lot more miserable.
Yeah.
So it is.
That's it. That's it. We understand it to be money is energy. And that's it. It can't be good or bad when you look at it like that. It's only your thinking that makes it so. So if you think money's terrible, it's terrible. If you think it's great and it flows to and through you from multiple sources on a continuous basis, that's what's going to happen. It's whatever you think is going to happen. And I love that. It's like when we talk about the seed, Earl Nightingale just explains it so well in The Strangest Secret. What we need to understand is we can't entirely control our subconscious mind, but we can voluntarily implement an idea that we want to, manifest in our reality. Ultimately, we can pick an idea, which is the seed, and we can plant it in our subconscious mind, and that will transform into concrete form. You hand it over. So as Bob says, you go to Spirit, you create the image of what you want, you hand it over to Spirit, and then it will hand it straight back to you in concrete form. And I love that. I absolutely love that. But it will work to and through you, not for you. And that is a massive idea. That's what you mentioned, Brian, in our introduction. When you get the hunch through your sixth sense, that is what you planted coming to you. You must act. You must act.
That's a brilliant way to finish off for this week, isn't it, Ken?
Yeah.
For what we think is it's been the subconscious is that we could go into this and you could do every series in this here. But for next week,
for sure.
Next week we're going to be going on our attitude. Well, the reason why attitude is going to be the big, everybody talks about having a bad attitude and a good attitude. Well, as I will bring in with Think and Grow Riches and Napoleon Hill's idea on it, and we will share it with you.
Yeah, absolutely. That we just wanted to start off with the subconscious again. We wanted to start because it's my favorite. Brian loves it as well, and we think it's so important to raise awareness about this. And we'll always be referring to the subconscious throughout the whole thing. So we want to, if you haven't already, go and read this chapter, read it over and over, and then we'll be moving swiftly into attitude. So as always, we hope you enjoyed the show. It's going to be on YouTube in video form and on multiple podcasting platforms. So as always, our social media is there. Reach out to us, Instagram, Facebook. Myself, Brian, or one of the team are always watching the comments. So don't be afraid to give us your feedback and get in touch if you like. I hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and tell all your friends. Together, we'll begin to think and grow rich. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.